Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a truly remarkable success story in higher education. Listen, if you're an academic leader, maybe a faculty member, or honestly just someone fascinated by how educational institutions manage to elevate themselves to a global stage, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're looking at a very practical playbook for aligning your academic programs with rigorous global professional standards. And we're going to do it by looking at an incredible real-world case study.
Because, it's the ultimate challenge, isn't it? How does a university actually bridge that gap between classroom theory and global professional standards? I mean, it's one thing to teach a subject really well, but it's an entirely different mountain to climb to prove that your specific curriculum matches up perfectly with the expectations of top-tier international credentialing bodies. Well, the University of Lagos, or UNILAG as they're known, they recently conquered this exact mountain by securing top-tier accreditation from the Society of Actuaries, the SOA. So we're going to use their journey as the ultimate answer to this big question.
So here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll meet the University of Lagos. Second, we'll walk through their accreditation timeline. Third, we'll navigate the actual UCAP process. Fourth, we'll look at the tangible benefits they've seen. And finally, number 5, we'll cover some direct advice for your own journey.
Let's start with Section 1. Meet the University of Lagos. The sheer legacy we're looking at with this institution is pretty remarkable. The Department of Actuarial Science and Insurance at UNILAG, they are not new to this game. They were established way back in 1970 under the Faculty of Management Sciences, so they've been a major cornerstone of quantitative education in the region for decades. They offer both undergraduate and postgraduate programs, which are heavily regulated by the National Universities Commission. But really, the most crucial point to understand here is that they are the alma mater to the vast majority of Nigerian actuaries. So the talent was there, the legacy was there. What they were after now was that undeniable, globally recognized validation. Moving on to Section 2, the accreditation timeline. Let me tell you, the pacing on this timeline is wild. This was not some grueling multi-year slog. This was a highly coordinated sprint. They submitted their initial application in early August 2025. Boom. By September, they already had coverage approved for 2 major exams. By October, literally just 2 months in, they had earned the UCAP-AC, or Introductory Curriculum status. But they didn't just stop and celebrate. In February 2026, they pushed for an upgrade. And by March 2026, they officially achieved the highly prestigious UCAP-AC, the Advanced Curriculum status. What really illustrates their efficiency here is how fast they responded to the SOA. When the SOA reached out asking for missing materials in August, UNILAG supplied them within days. That prompt, crystal-clear communication, that was absolutely their secret weapon for speed. And all that speed and coordination led to a massive, massive achievement: securing coverage for 6 full SOA exams. We're talking about SRM, FAM, ASTM, ALTAM, and of course, exams P and FM. That covers advanced statistics, risk, and financial mathematics. If you are anywhere near the actuarial space, you know exactly how incredibly heavy that course load is. But here's the thing. To reach the absolute summit, they needed a bit more than just the exams. They also had to secure full coverage for 3 VEE topics. That's validation by educational experience. Specifically, they hit mathematical statistics, economics, and accounting and finance. So it was this exact combination, those 6 rigorous exams plus the 3 VEE topics, that officially unlocked that top-tier UCAP-AC status for them. Which brings us to Section 3, navigating the UCAP process. So, how exactly did they pull this off so seamlessly? Well, the single most important strategic concept of this entire explainer is right here: evidence-based alignment. Notice what UNILAG didn't do. They didn't tear down their entire curriculum and start from scratch. No way. Instead, they focused entirely on proving that what they were already doing was world-class. They identified their existing courses, the ones with strong quantitative content, clear objectives, tough assessments, and they painstakingly mapped them directly to the SOA's expectations. It's all about translation, you see, not reinvention. Professor Adeleke, the head of the department, actually broke their execution down into these 4 very distinct sequential steps. Think of this as your toolkit. First, they conducted a microscopic curriculum audit just to see exactly what they had on hand. Second, they aligned their syllabi, their specific learning outcomes, and even their contact hours to perfectly match those SOA benchmarks. Third, they compiled incredibly robust documentation. I mean, every single exam paper, every course outline. And fourth, they actively engaged with the SOA's guidance. They didn't sit around guessing what the SOA wanted, they asked direct questions to ensure total compliance. Now, of course, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. The sheer intensity of the documentation requirements was a massive anchor. It really threatened to weigh them down, especially when you pair that with the challenge of keeping total consistency across dozens of different courses. So what was the fix? Well, they leaned heavily on faculty-led coordination. Everyone had to be rowing in the exact same direction. They didn't outsource this, the professors themselves owned it. And perhaps most importantly, they had absolute top-down internal buy-in. From the head of department all the way through faculty leadership and the quality assurance units, everyone was in sync. Without that kind of institutional commitment, a project like this just falls apart.
All right, Section 4, the tangible benefits.
Let's look at the payoff because the results of all this hard work were immediate and highly tangible. Just look at the shift in the student experience alone. We're talking massively increased motivation and crystal clear professional pathways. Students sitting in a UNILAG classroom today know exactly how their current Tuesday morning lecture translates directly to their future global professional qualifications. That is huge. And beyond the students, it's seriously boosted their local and international credibility, fundamentally positioning the entire department as a highly trusted pipeline for industry employers.
And this is a great illustration of why this matters for the long haul. UCAP accreditation is not just some fancy plaque you hang on the wall and forget about. Notice how these post-accreditation QA measures basically institutionalized their success. The entire process permanently rewired UNILAG's internal quality assurance. Periodic curriculum reviews, they're institutionalized now. Learning outcomes are tracked way more rigorously. Exam moderation is actively benchmarked against global standards. Essentially, the pursuit of this accreditation literally upgraded the operational DNA of the department. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Advice for Your Journey. Let's look at the practical blueprint here, directly based on Professor Adeliki's advice for other institutions looking to do the same thing. Consider this your playbook. First off, start early. This requires real strategy, not just brute force effort. Second, do that comprehensive gap analysis before you change a single comma in your syllabus. Third, and please don't skip this one, engage your faculty as a collective. If everyone is just working away in their own silos, your documentation is never going to align. Fourth, reframe the work completely. Don't view this as some tedious accreditation box checking exercise. View it as a quality enhancement process. And finally, maintain open, continuous communication with the SOA. Remember, they are your partners in this process, not just your judges. I also want to share this fantastic lessons learned insight. When the UNILAG team was asked what they would do differently if they had to do it all over again, their answer was simple but profound. Centralized documentation from day one. Seriously, do not wait until the week before your submission deadline to start hunting down syllabi and exam papers. Building a structured, shared repository early on will save your team an absolute mountain of time, stress, and pressure when those deadlines start creeping up. I want to highlight this powerful closing remark from Professor Adelke. He said, "Securing UCAP accreditation has been a transformational experience. Beyond recognition, it has strengthened our academic processes, professional relevance, and global outlook." That really hits the nail on the head, right? He's emphasizing that beyond that shiny global recognition, it fundamentally strengthened their core academic processes. And because of that profound internal upgrade, he strongly encourages other African universities to take this exact same step to elevate their own programs. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought, directly inspired by the incredible journey of the University of Lagos. Is your institution ready to take the leap? Are you ready to audit your strengths, align with those demanding global standards, and permanently transform the quality and the credibility of your academic programs? The playbook is right here. It's proven to work. All that's left is for you to take that first strategic step. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some exciting, ambitious conversations in your own department.